is pissed off at Poe over what he did with that robot.
Mm.
Right, exactly.
Seems
Um, yeah. You did know that, didn't you, Beach? That Poe and Hux were the two stars of Ex Machina.
No.
You've seen Ex Machina, right?
Yeah.
Okay, the bald guy with the big bushy beard, that's Poe Dameron. That's the X-wing pilot.
Search your heart, you know it to be true.
And the guy that he brings in to seduce the robot, for lack of a better way to put it, is Space Hitler.
They did not even look the same.
I know, right?
Well, he's put on
that one guy put on like 30 pounds of muscle whenever he played the bald guy
Right.
in Ex Machina. Like that's the biggest I'd ever seen him before.
Um, so yeah, for the 3 people in North America who haven't seen this yet,
All Amish, by the way.
right, we'll
even the Amish have seen it by this point.
we'll keep the first half of the discussion spoiler free, and then we'll get more in detail after we've just given a general overview. So I liked it. Funny thing about that, I wasn't sure I did, and I left the theater. Like, okay, I had my moments like at the beginning of the movie with the crawl, because I like the blue letters and the logo. I was like, I'm about to read a crawl I've never read before.
Yeah.
This is. I had a moment.
You haven't read a new crawl since you were a teenager.
Right, exactly, and
Yeah.
so
No, it was 20s.
I watched the movie and everything, and it was over, and I didn't walk out of the theater like, oh my god, that like my life hadn't been changed, and I struggled with that for days afterwards, because I'm like, did I not like this movie? Because I can't not like this movie. Like, I have to have liked this movie. And it ate at me for a while, because I wasn't entirely sure I liked it or not.
Really?
And yeah, and I didn't walk out of the theater like I did when I walked out of the Avengers, or even either one of the Avengers, or any of the Marvel movies, really, where I walked, I was like, oh my god, that was amazing, this is crazy. But I didn't have that. I was just kind of...
You think you may have just been in a weird mood that day?
No, I think it just took me a while to process it all, and I think I don't know what I really don't know, but the longer I've thought about it,
maybe when you went in there, you were just too jaded, and you were like, I can't be hurt again.
No,
it may have been, but after a while, I was like, you know what? I really did like this, and I want to see it again now. I haven't had a chance to see it more than once, but I really want to see it again. And that was the other thing. I didn't immediately want to see it again. I was like, okay, well, I saw it. I'm good now. And that was another thing that led to maybe I really didn't like this movie. But I did, and I want to see it again.
well, I've got a theory about that, because I kind of had a little bit, like, even though I've seen it multiple times and I saw it shortly after I saw it the first time, we have, like, you get rid of the prequels. We have 30 years of expectations behind this.
That's
and
true.
There was no way with 30 years of expectations of wanting to see Han and Leia again. There was no way it was going to be able to live up to those 30 years.
Right. That's true. That is true.
See,
that's part of why I went and saw it again, is because I needed to see it without keeping myself without having my expectations in it.
Well, see, maybe that's where I'm satisfied with things like this, because, like I've said before, I never really go into a theater expecting anything, so it's always going to be fresh for me. So,
Right.
like, I didn't have any expectations about seeing those old characters again, so I loved it the first time I saw it, and it's rare for me to actually pay money to go to see a movie, and it's doubly rare for me to even consider going to see it a second time. But I'm definitely going to see this a second time, because one of my main things, and the theater was pretty packed. You know, I mean, there was some open seats, but everybody was crushed in the middle together. And I don't, you know, that can be good sometimes for the camaraderie thing, but I'm also one of those people, I love having a theater to myself. And I would love to go see that movie in a theater that's not packed in like sardines.
Go to Lawton.
Huh?
Dude, there was like 4 people when we went and saw it.
Really?
And that was 2 days after it came out.
Jeez.
Now they also have a fancy new theater, so everybody avoided this one because I will say it kind of had a bad smell when I walked in.
It's becoming the stabby theater.
Well, I saw it at the theater out here at the Outlet Mall, and I saw it on Saturday afternoon at like 3 o'clock in the afternoon, 2 days after it had opened. And it wasn't even like we pre-ordered the tickets, so we didn't have to. It was maybe 3/4 capacity, but I also live within the vicinity of really good theaters.
Yeah.
That are worth the drive.
But hey, I don't care what anybody says. I like mall theaters.
Right?
I don't know why. I guess it's because I can just, when the movie's done, I can walk across the hallway and get a Cinnabon. Or something like that, you know?
Yeah.
What about you, Mikey? How was your experience?
It was good. So I saw it twice. Saw it with my gaming buddies on Monday, the week after it came out. So it wasn't too bad. It was morning. It was like 9:30 in the morning. So it was more than half full. I mean, it wasn't totally empty, but it wasn't, packed in like sardines. But it was good.
Mikey, you're coming in.
Can you turn your mic down?
A little bit hot, yeah.
Got a hot mic here, real hot mic.
No, we're not saying you're hot, Mike.
No, I've already heard it. I am hot. It's too late.
They saw it at 9:30?
Yeah, so I'm on the team.
On a weekday or a weekend? What?
Weekday. Saw it on Monday. It was good. I as well did not come in with expectations. I came in just for a Star Wars movie. And I was thoroughly entertained. Yeah. So then saw it with my friend in 3D. So I could see that was nice. It wasn't
I didn't think 3D was worth it.
Yeah. I got queasy.
Yeah.
that may have been the nachos though, Mikey.
Yeah, I'm just not I'm not into the 3D.
I'm not either.
Like, I saw Avatar in 3D because, like I've said before, that movie needed to be 3D.
Oh, yes.
No, yeah. Avatar is
but
the
everything
only movie.
since then, no.
Yeah, Avatar is the only movie that I've thought 3D was worth it.
Yeah.
Avatar, I will just say this, Avatar, Life of Pi, and Gravity are
Life
all...
of Pi. It wasn't Life of Pi, just a little Indian guy and a tiger and a boat?
Sort of.
How 3D can that get? Like, look at that bug.
No, there was a lot of you have to see the movie to understand. There's a lot of good 3D stuff, and it kind of felt like the visuals felt like Avatar, not the story, but the visuals.
Right on.
I'm with you, Beach. Though that immediately doesn't sound like a movie that I would even consider seeing in 3D. Yeah. It seems odd that they would even have made a 3D print of that.
Yeah.
Well, if you guys haven't seen the movie, I would say you just, and I hate to sound hipster about this, but if you haven't seen it, you wouldn't understand that 3D does work for this movie.
You wouldn't get it, man. That's like seeing a 3D version of Schindler's List. It's like, why?
Why?
What didn't we say?
Well, their nose came right at me.
Oh,
man.
Damn.
We apologize to our... No. We don't really apologize.
Oh.
Didn't you say...
Speaking of noses, Kylo Ren.
I was about to say, who do y'all think... who was your... Like, in terms of... Who do you think was the most compelling characters?
Compelling?
Yeah.
I would say the most compelling character would be Finn.
Yeah.
Because it's a story we've never had before.
And didn't they do a good job?
They did, because stormtroopers have always been
machine-like.
Just cogs, and
they gave them personality.
Yeah, that was. But my favorite new character is Poe. I thought he was awesome.
My favorite new character is Finn, but I think Rey is the most compelling, and we'll discuss. I know we'll discuss that.
Yeah, we'll get into it.
You know, staying on the stormtrooper thing for a second. One of my favorite parts in the entire movie was so quick. Was whenever they were about to. Spoiler alert! There's battles in this, and
there's wars in Star Wars.
Yeah.
What?
At one point, Finn is running through the trees and stuff like that. You know, fighty, all that stuff going on, and all of a sudden you hear somebody behind him go "traitor" about like that, and he turns around and it's a stormtrooper, and he takes off his helmet, and they get into a pretty good fight. And just that one little thing, I thought was really cool. Because it kind of encapsulated exactly what was going on. It's like, ultimately they were all taken from their families and stuff like that as children.
Right, and we haven't seen...
They're comrades. They've been through all this shit together. And ultimately, Finn is a traitor. If you really...
Oh, no, he's...
You know, like, at one point, Kylo Ren actually says, you're hanging out with smugglers, murderers, traitors, and thieves. And I sat back and I was like, holy crap, he's not wrong.
No, he's not wrong. And this is the first time in the film franchise that we've gotten personality and individuality from stormtroopers. In the animated series, the clone troopers started to develop their own personalities. And
well, they even addressed that in like the first episode of the animated series.
Yeah, they give themselves names, and
kind of like the Unsullied in Game of Thrones. They'll call themselves like Grey Worm and stuff like that.
Right,
sort
and
of.
You've got Captain Rex and whatnot. And they all start they start giving themselves names. The ones that really develop individuality, and they start like getting their own looks. Like some of them shaved their heads, and they start to kind of break their programming to some degree, and that's explored in the current animated series, Star Wars Rebels, because we are reintroduced to kind of the last clones, and it's Captain Rex and 3 other clone troopers that are leftovers from the Clone Wars that actually had their chips removed so they weren't affected by Order 66. They chose to have their chip removed. And so this is the first time in the film franchise that we've explored the individuality and the personality of a stormtrooper. Hell, it's the first time we've seen a stormtrooper without their helmet on.
Well, it's the
first time
you've seen a stormtrooper bleed.
Right?
It's also the first time you've seen a stormtrooper actually hit anything.
Right?
Yeah.
You do that a lot.
Yeah. So
because other than in that opening scene, they still couldn't hit anything unless it was Finn.
Right. The
maybe the armor just messes with their.
One thing I really liked that people have made a lot of parallels, and I'm not going to necessarily disagree. There's a lot of parallels to Star Wars, to the first movie, to the original movie. And there's a lot of parallels, but Lucas has addressed that before. When people were criticizing the same thing about the prequels, he said that they're echoes, and it's almost like rhyming couplets. That the stuff that's in episode 1 that is reflected in episode, and I hate saying this, episode 4. It's like they're rhyming. They're 2 verses of the same poem that rhyme, and so it's done deliberately. And so any parallels that are drawn from the original trilogy or even the prequel trilogy to this film are not necessary, are not done lazily and cashing in on the nostalgia per se. It's deliberate, and it's there to to make it to make the feel of the overarching story.
Right. Well, therein too is like I think people who are overly critical in that manner are just doing it for the purpose of being overly critical. I mean, the whole idea of the hero's journey is not a new one. Right. I mean, the story arcs are not wholly different than stories that you would find in Greek mythology.
Right.
Well,
I mean,
there's
it's always been called a space western for a reason because it's the outsider rising up to bring
they're getting more specific of the person without a family on the desert planet.
Right.
There's a droid that has a secret that's carrying a secret. The stormtroopers are looking for him. There's a Death Star. I mean, it's
right. Well, that's what I'm saying. That's no different from the ancient Greek mythology about how the sons of demigods and stuff like that will have familiar spirits that carry secrets and stuff. So it's I get what they're saying, but in the case of Kylo Ren, that is blatantly, specifically supposed to be like that.
Right. Yeah.
But he openly says, "I'm trying to be like that." So.
Right. Go ahead, Eric.
Kevin, a friend of ours, Kevin, would tell us about this. Is that the original story borrowed very heavily from a book about heroes by Joseph Campbell. So it's not really which was pretty much about the archetypical hero. So it's really not surprising that the movie would continue in that vein because these do seem to be archetypes.
Right. Well, one of the things I really liked visually, and we've seen these shots in the trailers, the dogfighting. Yeah. I'm always been a fan of dogfights. Whether that's part of why I love Top Gun so much is the dogfighting aspect.
No, admit it. You love it for the volleyball scene.
Well, of course, who doesn't?
My wingman anytime.
BS, you can be mine.
But now the dogfighting has always taken place in space. Mm-hmm. But this was the first time, none of it was in space. We saw that chase scene when they find the famous ship. Not to be too specific about that, and that big chase scene through the wrecked Star Destroyer.
Right.
That was all planet side.
I think that was in the trailer.
That was all
you
planet
can give
side.
Away the famous ship because it was in the trailer.
Mm-hmm.
Then you have
and it's actually got. Did y'all know that it has Batman's Tumblr on it?
Yes.
I thought that was so awesome.
On the underside.
Yeah, on the undercarriage.
That Apocalypse Now shot.
That was amazing.
The TIE fighters with the sunset behind them, and the X-wings coming over the water, and that whole X-wing TIE fighter battle was planet side.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
The only time they really utilized space was for transport purposes.
Exactly.
Getting from A to B, and that's exactly what you would be doing.
And all of
the escape scene.
All of the space combat was planet side, and that was amazing. Mm-hmm. I don't know why I just was so fascinated by seeing that fight scene take place.
One thing though, whenever in the opening scene, this is not a spoiler. I mean, this was in the trailer. In the opening scene, when the stormtroopers are descending and they land and the gates fall. Did that not look like a shot-for-shot remake of the invasion from Starship Troopers?
Right.
I mean, the angles of the shots were even the same. Like when I saw that, I was like, okay, now I'm giddy and nostalgic for other reasons.
Right. So yeah, it was. I loved the visual of that.
Go
ahead.
One of the things that I love, and I'm going to probably take away from what you were about to say, so why don't you finish your thought and then I'll come back.
Oh, no, I was just about to say, I was going to go way back to a previous thing. I said my favorite new character was Poe Dameron because he's an awesome X-Wing pilot, and they kind of go hand, like the pilot thing, the dogfighting, so that's why I liked him. But I gotta give props to Estelle, because the fact that they were able to cast a Golden Girl in this movie was amazing, because that little orange chick was awesome. I love her. I want an action figure of her.
Maz Kanata.
Because she was just amazing. And then when the person put the thing on Facebook, putting her next to Estelle, I cracked up.
Okay, I didn't see that because I'm not on Facebook.
Oh God, dude!
I didn't see it either, but
it was like, I know I've seen those glasses before, and it's a picture of her next to a picture of Estelle from the Golden Girls, and then someone went one further and put Estelle's wig on her and put her in the picture with the other three of them.
Okay, I've got to try and find that.
Oh God, it was amazing.
So,
but she was fun. So go ahead, Eric. I'm done.
So one of the things I loved about the movie that I think was kind of like, there was bits of it in the previous movies, but there was a lot more. There's a lot more levity in this one.
Oh yeah.
That looks like her.
Right.
That's great.
And I loved the fact that, you know, I could sit there and I could, like, the interactions between Finn and Poe early on were awesome.
Oh yeah.
And
that's like straight up my favorite character in it was God, I hate to say favorite because they were all so good, but the one that interested me the most, for reasons we'll talk about later in the latter half of the show, was Kylo Ren. And like you say,
well, that's because you like that emo crap.
Well, no, like, because like I've heard some theories that make me go, oh wow, but like you said, the levity I think was perfect. Like in the first time we see him really throw a tantrum, like just throw a real bitch fit, and he goes nuts, and then all of a sudden he just calms down and is like, will there be anything else? I mean, it was just the delivery of the line was perfect. This was the first Star Wars that I ever can truly say I laughed consistently through the whole thing.
Yeah,
right. I loved when he was
in every major scene there was something to laugh at.
I loved when he was throwing his temper tantrum and the two stormtroopers looked at each other like, nope.
Yeah, we don't need to go down that hall after all. I think we'll go this way.
But no, I've heard several people comment on this was a lot funnier than they thought it was going to be. That it actually, Finn had some great lines, like when Han is like, "Are you sure you're ready for this?" He's like, "Hell no, I'm not ready for this."
But I'm going to do it anyway.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Whose modem just dialed up?
Wasn't me.
But yeah, you're right, Beach. This was, or whoever brought it up. This was very. It was very funny. Like there were
Way
really,
to go, Beach.
really
Getting
good,
credit for my stuff.
right? They're really good. So, well, Mikey, have you got anything?
I've always been known as the closer. You know, people open it up and I shut it down. I make things gold. They call me Rumpelstiltskin on the streets.
I think that's more because you're like Mr. I think that's more because you're like him in the Once Upon a Time. You're just a heartless bastard.
Well, I was gonna say, are these the streets of Yantis or Quitman?
Man, this is Sulphur Springs, man. We straight out to SS, you're.
The streets of Wood County.
That sounded so wrong. Straight out the SS. I'm sorry.
Well, Mikey, have you got anything non-spoilery you would like to bring up about The Force Awakens before we
for the spoils, man. I'll wait.
Dive in? Okay. All right. Well, if nobody's got anything else non-spoilery that they want to mention, we'll go ahead and get into the specifics of it. From here on out, this is the spoiler warning. The rest of the show, we will be the gloves are off, and we're just going to have an open discussion about the movie. And so, if you haven't seen it yet, just stop now. Just go ahead and turn it off now because there's nothing left but spoilers. So, so yeah, somebody take it.
Okay.
Han definitely shot first this time, no question.
Right.
So, I can go on for like probably 10 minutes about Rey and all the theories I have about how everybody knows who she is but her.
Yeah.
Because the very first time I got an a feeling that, like, and I've seen it 4 times, so I will say, as I've watched for more stuff as I've rewatched it, but the very first thing that you really notice, besides the fact that she's on this planet where nobody knows her, is that when Kylo Ren, when he throws his first temper tantrum, he gets upset that Finn is helping out. But then he hears about a girl, and he absolutely loses his shit. Mm-hmm. Like, he pulls the guy over and starts choking him when he hears about a girl.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, it leads me to think Kylo Ren already knows who she is.
Well, I mean, to me, it's pretty obvious because in the vision that was attached to the saber, whenever you hear a voice say, "Let's go, girl," or "Come, girl," and it sounds like Kylo's voice. So, like, I don't know if at one time she was a Padawan and he was like she was in his charge, or what? But
she anything about memory loss? Does she? I don't remember that. Left.
She was left, but she doesn't. But she's so isolated. She doesn't know anything about anyone.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Like, I don't know. She saw Kylo's face, but even if you look at, like, if you want to be realistic about it, she, like, the age that she was when she was dropped at that planet was like 6 or 7. People can change quite a bit in 13 years. So.
Well, the two working theories that I've seen more than anything else are that she is Luke's daughter, which I don't want. I do not want her to be Luke's daughter because it's just so cheap.
Yeah,
and it's so obvious.
I'm hoping for the second one.
The second one is that she is Obi-Wan Kenobi's granddaughter.
That's the one I'm hoping for.
Mm-hmm.
I would honestly, I would rather her be a Kenobi than to be another Skywalker.
But here's the thing. I mean, Jedi have no relationships. It's no different.
What? I didn't get any of that. I hear.
Yeah, Mike, your mic's kind of crappy tonight.
I'm not even on a mic. So.
No, it sounded like breaking glass on my end, whatever that was.
Yeah, that's not me.
Oh, okay.
So, I think that's AJ.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, that was me playing with my keys. I'm sorry.
Say that again, Mikey.
So, Kenobi, I mean, Jedi have no relationships. Kenobi was no different. He stuck to it better than Anakin, obviously.
Yeah.
Well,
I don't know.
I've heard one theory that kind of actually takes both, in that she's Skywalker's daughter and Kenobi's granddaughter, and that Skywalker got it on with Kenobi's daughter.
Well, yeah, like I have heard that in the extended universe, Skywalker did have a lady along the way, but most of it's hard to say what's been kept and what hasn't at this point.
Well,
yeah, as far as that goes, she could just be a product of the Force.
And see, I would be happy with her being nobody. Just being, I've heard the argument I've heard for that is if she's not related to anyone in the series, it makes her everyone.
Yeah.
It makes her the audience. That she's just a Force-sensitive person, and it makes her by being not special makes her special.
Right.
And makes her more relatable to the audience because she is the audience.
Have you been watching The Incredibles again, Chris?
Yes, I have. But I don't want her to be Luke's daughter because I don't want to see the inevitable confrontation between Rey and Kylo Ren to be a familial fight again. We've done that. I don't want to see that again. I don't want them to be brother and sister. I don't want them to be cousins. I don't want them to be anything other than the light side and the dark side. And I don't want them to
hook up.
Oh, God, no. Honestly, I don't want this to be Empire and Jedi, where they get another confrontation and Rey gets her hand cut off, and then they have the final confrontation in Episode 9. I don't want them to interact in Episode 8. I don't want them to get to face off again until episode 9.
And I don't think they will because Kylo's been recalled.
Right. I think we can go episode 8 without the two of them ever coming in contact with each other.
Oh yeah.
I think we can do that, and I think we can have a big final confrontation between the two of them, and build it up. Almost like the Anakin Obi-Wan showdown in episode 3.
Right.
Is we spent 2 movies building toward that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we can build toward that in episode 8 and have the showdown in episode 9. And I almost want one of them. I want one of them to die. I don't want redemption.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want us to let's not redeem Kylo Ren again, and let's not play all that. Let's just kill him. If that's what we're gonna do, if the good guys are gonna win and the bad guys are gonna lose, cut his damn head off or something.
Right. She was going to.
Cut his head.
Until
take his power.
Honestly, I've heard a lot of different beliefs. Like a lot of people say different things about. For one, I thought that lightsaber battle was awesome in the forest, just because watching it cut through the trees and stuff was perfect. But a lot of people are like, well, obviously Kylo's not that good. If somebody that's just a stormtrooper could hold his own for a little bit, and somebody that hasn't been trained in the Force could hold it. I don't think that's what happened. I think he was toying with them. Like, for one, a stormtrooper has been trained in combat since birth, so he's not. He may not be the best in the world, but he knows what he's doing when it comes to weapons, because that's what his life has been. He's basically a Spartan,
Yeah.
Right.
And in terms of him fighting her, he was talking to her the whole time, saying, "You need someone to teach you." He wasn't trying to kill her.
Right.
He was basically just toying with, and plus he was already injured at that point.
Right. Well, it was the Vader Luke fight from Empire.
Yeah.
Luke wasn't trying to kill, or Vader wasn't trying to kill Luke in that fight.
Could have
easily. He was trying to break him.
Yeah.
And that's what Kylo Ren was trying. Yeah, and that's what Kylo Ren was trying to do. Speaking of that fight in Empire, the biggest thing, like everybody's like, "Who is Rey?" and all the collectors and the feminists are like, "Where's Rey?" And that's a whole issue. I don't even. Yeah. It's a legitimate argument, but
yeah, that
one
I can say is a legitimate argument.
What's the argument now?
There's little to no Rey merchandising. That's the thing. Like there's this box set of these 12-inch figures at Target, and they have like 4 points of articulation, and it has Kylo Ren, Poe Dameron, Finn, Captain Phasma maybe, and a stormtrooper and an X-wing pilot.
I doubt it has Captain Phasma because people might be slightly appeased if there was.
Well, it's basically got 6 dudes and no Rey figure, and people are pissed because there's not that Rey is the main character of. They consider Rey to be the main character of the movie, but she has the least amount of merchandise available, and people lost their minds because Monopoly, a new version of Star Wars Monopoly came out, and Rey is not in a token. The tokens are Luke, Vader, Kylo Ren, and Finn.
And this is Star Wars. This is Force Awakens Monopoly.
And they have Vader, but not.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
now
hold on.
Okay.
Wait, before you say that, you need to hear the whole story. The explanation given was they did not want to reveal her importance to the story and spoil the plot by including her in the game, because if they included her in the game, they would have to reveal parts of the story. They didn't, because this was released before the movie came out. Well, now Hasbro has said, okay, everybody's pissed. We're going to release this again in the spring or something. I don't remember when they're going to do it, and they're making a Rey token to go in the game. Okay. So they're fixing it.
Yeah. Well, no. What I was going to say was that is weird that they wouldn't have the main character, but with that explanation, actually does make sense to me. because like I know I've heard a couple of places that they had a hard time keeping that stuff locked down.
Right. Oh yeah.
Like when they apparently at one point when they went to one of the maybe not Comic-Con, but one of the big cons this last summer, they had her staff, right?
Uh-huh.
And somebody accidentally above it called it the staff of Plagius or something like that. And one of the head of the group that was there went, take that down now. Like apparently there's a staff in the extended universe.
Okay.
That may be it, kind of thing.
Right.
And that's apparently like somebody accidentally put that up there when they weren't supposed to.
Right.
Like they already had the sign made, but the secret about that staff hasn't come out yet.
All right. Well, see, and the people are complaining because
I can see that.
And
but that's what happens when you start selling merch before the product has been released.
Yeah, I will say that.
That is true, because Rey was one of those characters you had to be careful with what you did merchandise wise, because you don't want to give away key plot points.
What they should have done. This is just coming from somebody who has nothing to do with any of it, but just my personal theory is they should have taken everybody as just what you see in the trailer. Show show what they have in the trailer. Like have a Luke with the robot arm. Have Finn with removable stormtrooper gear.
Right.
Have Rey with her staff. Then after the movie releases, then push out all the product that has stuff that could be considered spoilerific in it.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Well, this is actually carryover from this summer because of the lack of Black Widow merchandise for Age of Ultron. And the biggest thing was there is in Age of Ultron, the Quinjet is coming, and Black Widow drops out of the bottom of the Quinjet on the motorcycle and picks up Cap's shield and everything. The toy of that, it's Captain America on the bike and not Black Widow. And people got really upset, and that it's sexist and all this other crap. And I get it, but that's
that was like I heard people talking about that, and I'm gonna just quickly say my thought on it, and we can go back to Star Wars. With Black Widow, I also didn't see anything for Hawkeye. I didn't see anything for Scarlet Witch. I didn't see anything for Quicksilver. They kept the merchandising to the four main guys.
Right.
And because that's what their bread and butter about this whole thing had been up to that point was Hulk, Iron Man, Thor, and Cap.
That's true.
Yeah, well, I mean, at the same time, too, is...
Now, do I think that they should expand it? Yes, they absolutely should, because Scarlet Witch was a huge character in that. Black Widow has been huge in every event, every one of these movies since
Iron Man 2.
Mm-hmm. So yes, they should start rolling it out because they need. I mean, just in talks of, I'd love for Nicole to be able to play with characters who she identifies with, and she's probably not going to identify with Captain America.
But here's the thing, like exactly, you just unintentionally made my point. This is the kind of subject that makes the predominantly people on the left, far left, kind of start eating their own tail, because you have to produce merchandise that will be popular. Generally speaking, you're producing merchandise for little boys in this particular circumstance. Now, people can freak out about that, be like, oh, but, girls are into that too, blah, 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 blah. Yes, but it's still a business, and you cannot make 100,000 units and only sell 5,000 of them because it's such a small portion of the population. I don't hear these same people arguing, why is it only women modeling in Victoria's Secret commercials? Hey, some men like to wear that stuff too. Why don't we see any dudes in those skimpy little outfits?
Right.
You and I could go into a debate about this, but I think now is not the time for that.
Oh, yeah. Well, you'd lose, so I understand.
No, I think we probably just end up butting heads and never coming to a solution.
No, that's just my thing. It's like it's not about people's feelings, and it's a business.
No, it's true. It's absolutely a business, and that's why, like it's in a lot of ways it's stupid. But
no, hey, I'll be the first to admit Disney is evil.
Well, yeah,
I'm not defending
but it's
Disney.
like Cartoon Network canceled Green Lantern the animated series because that show was targeted at boys at like 7 to 14, and more girls were watching it than boys. They weren't hitting their target audience. They canceled the show, regardless of the fact that it was doing great. It wasn't doing great in the demographic they were targeting, and so they canceled the show
because it wasn't moving.
And yet, My Little Pony.
There was almost no merchandise, but that was a whole different argument. But that was the thing: is the girls don't buy action figures, and this was going to be an action figure kind of series, and so there was the audience that was watching the show wasn't going to buy any merchandise, so they canceled the show.
Even with high ratings, they can.
Yes, even with high ratings, they canceled the show because the wrong people were watching it, and it's stupid and it sucks. But at the end of the day, it is a business, and there is so much Star Wars merchandise. I think there's more Rey material out there than people realize. I think she's getting lost in the sea of everything else because she could be argued as the main character, but at the same time, Poe is an important character. Finn is a very important character. You know who doesn't need as much merch as they have? Captain Phasma. She didn't do shit in that movie.
Yeah, she's not really going to... I don't think she's actually going to become a major player until the second one or even the third one. Like they said they've got big plans for her, but
right.
I mean,
but
she
see,
had...
Well, but there's so
like
much
10 lines.
But there's so much they can do with all of these other people.
Oh, yeah.
Rey is just one piece of the big puzzle. And if you go to the store, especially pre-Christmas, if you went to the store, there were walls of merchandise, and there were ships, and there were characters, and it was like the spread may not be. Yeah, maybe there's 3 Kylo Rens.
Hey man, all I'm hearing is you called her a piece and you talking about spread. What?
Let's say you open a case of action figures and there's 3 Finns, 3 Kylo Rens, and 1 Rey to a case. Okay, yeah, that's probably probably pretty close to accurate. But yeah, it's messed up. That I will say it's probably not even distribution of product, but I don't think she's as left out as people think she is. I think she's just getting lost in the shuffle, probably due to lower distribution numbers. It's like the Power Ranger toys. The red or the pink and yellow Ranger are in like 1 per case with 5 of the other figures. And so you'll have 6 Red Rangers on the shelf and 1 Pink Ranger because that was the only Pink Ranger that came in that case, and those 5 Red Rangers came in in that same case.
Yeah, and also when it comes to movies like this, again, this was just an introductory movie. This was one in a trilogy, so there's still a lot more to come. But generally speaking, when things like this come out, what action figure sells more, the hero or the villain? Usually the villain. The villain looks cool.
Right.
You know, when you're playing with action figures, let's take the fact that she's a girl out of the equation. She's the hero or the heroine, whatever you want to call it. The hero versus the villain. You're probably going to play with the villain because his outfit looks cooler. I mean, it really can come down to something as simple as that.
Right.
You know.
Well, back to the point that started all of this that I was trying to make. I want to know who Rey is. I'm kind of interested in Finn's backstory, and is Finn someone of consequence? Like there's a really thin rumor that he's Lando's kid, but
oh, come on, man.
I know, but the biggest mystery that I need solved from like to reconcile in my head, where the hell did they get that lightsaber? Because the last time we saw that lightsaber, it was in Luke's severed hand falling to the bottom of Cloud City.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Where did that lightsaber come from?
Yeah.
That has been driving me crazy since I saw that lightsaber in the trailer.
That's what a lot of the speculation about who the Knights of Ren are is coming from. They think that, and that's why my mind is blowing up over this, because they're saying like the Knights of Ren are, for one, the fact that they're called knights signifies that obviously there's a lot of them, or at least there's a specific order. Like they're trying to do something, and a lot of it comes down to, well, the last time we saw Vader's helmet was where? After the battle where the Ewoks, did all their shit. They burned him,
Right.
So where did they get that kind of thing? So they think that the Knights of Ren are like going around and getting all of these artifacts of power, I guess you could say, and and getting them together. Because if that lightsaber flashback showed us anything, it's that these artifacts can kind of utilize the Force to, and even Yoda back in the day said, with the Force you can see in the past, the present, and even the future. So maybe that's what you're going after, and yeah, it's God, the theories are so deep and complex. It's
Well, there's a theory that the box that the lightsaber was in was the same box that was in Obi-Wan's house on Tatooine, and that all the other stuff in that box, that was Obi-Wan's box. So yeah, but that was the biggest mystery to me, just because I lost it when I was like, holy shit, that is Luke's lightsaber. Like that's Anakin's lightsaber. I mean, that's the original one, and I'm like, where did they get it? How did they get it? It's supposed to be gone. I don't understand.
Well, Leia's ally. Does anyone even stop and think about the opening scene where Poe is talking to this old dude in the desert?
Right. See, I kind of want to know who that was.
So I kind of looked it up, and of course it's no longer, legit. But the guy's name is Lor-San Tekka, and like his deal was, again, no telling what's going to be canon. He was part of some member called the Church of the Force.
Okay.
So not Force sensitive. Just they followed Jedi, and they followed both the good and the bad. And
so fanboys.
Yeah, but this guy supposedly was around like when he was alive during everything, like from the time Anakin became Vader to now.
Okay.
So he has seen Palpatine rise, Luke come, Vader fall, all that. So I don't know. I doubt they're going to go anywhere with it, but it was that bugged me. Like I came home after the second time, I was like, who is that? Who is that asshole? I got to know who he is.
Well, there are definitely shades of the extended universe left over in this, like the Han and Leia's son that has turned to the dark side, and there's Luke trying to start up a new Jedi Order, things like that. The New Republic. There's a lot of pieces of the extended universe that are still around, and with a different twist to it. So I like that it's not all gone, but because it's 30 years of storytelling that they just brushed under the rug. Han and Leia made an ugly kid.
Dude. God, dude.
Like, Adam Driver is an unfortunate looking individual. That nose. How does he fit that nose under that mask? Like, how does he get all that hair and that nose up underneath that helmet? I don't understand.
Well,
it doesn't work for me.
It's because he's emotional. You wouldn't understand.
That's true. Have y'all followed emo Kylo Ren on Twitter?
Yes. Well, I saw it where he posted to Old Navy.
Because it's kind of the best thing ever.
Beach, have you seen Lonely Luke Skywalker?
Yes, the Lonely Luke Skywalker is pretty great too. Beach, I know you're not on Twitter. Someone after the movie opened started at emo Kylo Ren, and it's basically Kylo Ren as an emo teenager.
Which he is.
And right, he pretty much is. But people are like real. There's real interactions going on. He tweeted Hot Topic asking them for a job, and Hot Topic replied back, and they said, he says, do you have any part-time positions available? It would have to be part-time. I'm in an aggressive internship. And Hot Topic's response was, we have several positions available. It just depends on whether or not you work better in a group or solo. Oh God, this is what the internet was made for. But yes, emo Kylo Ren is wonderful.
Lonely Luke Skywalker. I told somebody every time the moon comes out, I say, "That's not a moon. There's no one there to laugh."
Yeah.
I haven't been on Twitter much lately, so
Han Solo died.
Yeah. Now I've seen people say maybe he didn't die, or
I hope not.
Or maybe
they do. They're cheapening the hell out of that moment.
And I've also seen people who said that Kylo was actually infiltrating, and that Han knew that this had to happen in order for his ruse to be kept up, but I don't see that.
I don't know.
Like, I just don't see Kylo being, like, with everything else, like, taken by that one moment taken by itself, okay, maybe, but when you add in everything else.
Yeah. Beej, were you the one saying about he is going deep cover to take it down from the inside?
What?
I think we lost Beach.
You got me?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, the theory I heard. Sorry, there's a mute button on my my headset here that I accidentally hit. The theory I heard is the one that I actually really appreciate, given all the symbolism surrounding it. Like, there has to be a balance to the Force, right? So, in order for there to be a balance, there must be someone who is all good and who is all bad. Now, we know that Luke is out there and he was all good and whatnot. So someone had to bring balance to the Force. So Kylo kind of his mind was twisted in a way to believe that he had to force himself to be all bad in order to balance the Force.
Ooh.
And that's the reason he was so tore up when he was talking to his dad, because he was like, I know what I have to do in order to do this, in order to fulfill. This was the only way he could do it. You know, the same way Vader had to kill the younglings all those years ago, and how every time he kept pulling he kept feeling that pull to the light side, he would like basically pray to the helmet of Vader to help me fulfill your work. Because remember, the original prophecy was for Vader to fulfill the work by bringing balance to the Force, and the fact that he wears that helmet. And you notice the 2 or 3 times he sets it down, they make a point to make it sound really heavy, as if kind of a physical manifestation of his burden that he's being shackled with. And I actually really like that theory. Now, whether or not that's the way it is, I think that's a solid theory.
I like the fact that we have a character for the first time in 6 movies. We have a dark side character struggling with the light side.
Mm-hmm.
It's always been a light side character struggling with the dark side.
Yeah.
It's interesting to see someone on the other side of that, and I think this was brought up. I think Eric and Kelly brought it up when y'all came over before Christmas. Kylo's lightsaber kind of represents his instability.
Yeah.
Well, his command of the Force seems to be predicated solely on emotion.
Yeah, well, you also saw like how he struggled with the lightsaber, almost like it had weight. Like it, it's not fluid.
He
and
carries
light.
it like a broadsword.
Exactly, it's not fluid and lightweight like the Jedi always did in the past. It looks like it weighs 8 pounds.
Yeah, he carries it like a broadsword.
Mm-hmm.
And for all the people criticizing that crossguard, I was sitting in the movie and I'm watching it, and he's fighting with Finn, and when he kind of starts to cut into Finn's shoulder with that crossguard, I was like, see,
yeah,
I told you that was a good idea.
And honestly, like whenever he was fighting Rey there at the end, and she kind of had what people thought was the drop on him, and you could kind of see a flash of fear in his face right as she was really wailing on him, because he saw something he wasn't supposed to see in her. She's supposed to be the light, and rage doesn't come from the light.
Right.
So how can
dark side at that point?
Huh?
I said I felt the same. I'm like, man, she's really into that anger.
Exactly.
It's not going to
It looked like she was being seduced by that, because she was really going into it, and you could see him kind of get scared when he saw that. So I kind of thought, oh crap, what the hell's that all about?
A few of these points are actually addressed in the novelization. The novelization came out the digital version and the audio. The digital and the audio came out at the same time as the movie did. The hardcover is coming out this month. But it actually goes into some of that stuff. In that scene, it actually gives her some internal struggle about how easy it would be to kill him.
Mm-hmm.
And so you get some of exactly what you're talking about. And as far as the Kylo Ren's struggle with the light and the dark and everything, it dives a little deeper into what happened between Han and Leia and why they aren't together anymore, and that it's because of what happened with Ben before he became Kylo Ren. Yeah. And Leia knew that Snoke was watching him, because she knew as a Skywalker he would have equal tendency toward the light and the dark, just like Anakin did, just like Luke does, and so she knew that the possibility was there.
Yeah.
Right, and she knew that Snoke was watching him, and that's why she sent him to Luke, was hoping Luke would be able to protect him from Snoke and keep him on the light side. And she didn't tell Han any of this because he's not Force sensitive and he wouldn't understand. And she admits that she was wrong, because she thought Han would handle it the way Han handles things. He would shoot first, shoot later, shoot some more, and then if anybody's still alive, ask a question or two.
Yeah,
and
his son would still be around.
Exactly. That's why she realized how
still be alive,
that she screwed up. And so the novel, Celis read it and said it's got some really good stuff in there that goes a little bit deeper than the movie was able to, like a book can. So
let's discuss Snoke if we can.
Absolutely.
Where did he come from?
Well, there's the original rumor that he was Darth Plagueis, somehow still alive.
Okay.
But Andy Serkis has said it's not. Andy Serkis has flat out said that he is not Darth Plagueis. That could be just Andy Serkis trying to throw everybody off. But I don't think this is true. But the picture is actually pretty convincing. So in the last 48 hours or so, someone has posted a picture, and I've seen this picture a million times now, of a side-by-side of Anakin of Return of the Jedi helmetless Darth Vader and Snoke, and they have scars in the same spots. The big scar in his head, there's a big scar in both of their heads. There's a scar on both of their faces, and they have similar scarring on their faces and on their heads that it visually makes a compelling argument that it's Anakin.
Yeah.
Now, I've got a question for you guys.
Okay.
Not just how much do you think it's going to suck for us that eventually we don't know what it's going to be, but one of these theories is actually probably going to be true. And so the big surprise that we're supposed to get, it's not going to be that surprising to like anybody.
But that is a valid question. That's a valid point. But the way I look at it is, you can enjoy it on two different levels. You can enjoy the, oh my God, I never saw that coming level, or you can enjoy it on the, see, I told you.
Yeah,
my brain is better than everyone's.
Right. It's kind of like, are you going to be disappointed when you die and you find out your religion was right?
Exactly.
You know, I mean, it's still going to be cool either way.
You're either going to get the shock factor, or you're going to get the enjoyment that you could hold over everyone's head that you were right and that you figured it out.
Huh. Well, I guess he does kind of have a scar over his head there.
Oh, you didn't see that scar?
Yeah, well, you know, Chris, you and I were talking about something similar. I guess the day that I saw that, how I was questioning the if it really was Anakin that was leading him, you know, or if it was really Vader, the way he was praying to the helmet and stuff like that. Because, like, does, you know, like the whole Force ghost people.
Right.
Does somebody on the dark side have access to the light ghosts?
Well, there's some.
You know, it's.
They originally had written from what I read about things that were cut out of the movie, and I've seen the concept art for it. There was originally supposed to be an Anakin Force ghost, but his face was supposed to be in flux between it being Anakin and Vader.
That'd be kind of cool to see.
And so, kind of like one. You remember those, like, the cards that you get where you move it?
Yeah, you looked at it in the light.
Oh yeah.
The motion cards or whatever they're called.
Right, because there's two different images, and when you move it, as I'm demonstrating, because you can all see me right now.
Oh, God. That's amazing, dude.
The hologram.
No, not the hologram, but it's like the lenticular card where
you aim it one way, it's a dinosaur. Aim it the other way, it's like a starburst.
Right, exactly. Which that was kind of what his face was doing, is it was going back and forth between Anakin and Vader. And part of from what I hear, part of the reason they dropped that was it didn't fit in the overall narrative, and they couldn't get Hayden Christensen to do it because Hayden Christensen has completely walked away from acting. He didn't want to do it. So
he couldn't land Natalie Portman. So what's the point?
So, all right. Well, that's a good solid hour or so.
One thing,
final thoughts.
Sorry.
Yeah. Go ahead. Ask your question. It's fine.
Yeah. One quick thing. I heard something recently. I was just wondering if y'all knew if it was true or not. That originally Disney Disney told Lucas, yeah, go ahead and bring in your ideas for the next trilogy and we'll see what it looks like, and they straight up rejected him.
I've heard something similar, yes, and that's part of why he's pissy and acting like a bitter ex is he had his idea of what was supposed to be and where the story was supposed to go, and they were open to that, but that's just not where they wanted to go with it, and I've heard that as well.
Okay. Well, I like where it's going personally. So.
Yeah.
I do too. I think one of the things that I will say, because Lucas is full of crap. He didn't know what he was doing when he made the first Star Wars. This one is very definitively, that there's more stuff coming.
Yeah, and that was honestly that was my biggest issue with it, and why it took me a little bit to kind of warm up to the whole thing, was it was just such a part one that I didn't feel satisfied. I felt left
teased.
hanging. I felt teased more than satisfied, because it is such a part one that I think that was part of why I wasn't sure I actually did like it. And I really think this is going to end up being one of those trilogies that has to be appreciated as a whole.
Yeah.
And rather than the sum of its parts.
Yeah.
But okay, so final thoughts. We'll go just in the order that I can see the avatars down here. So we'll start with Beach.
Oh, okay, because I'm last on my avatar list. I loved the movie, liked all the characters. They could have got a more attractive girl to play Rey. That's all right. It's not all about that.
But have you seen her not as Rey?
No.
She's adorable.
I was just kidding. Anyway, I really, really do. I love her character. I like where it's going. The chemistry between her and Finn was perfect. Now, obviously, the poor bastard's going to be in the friend zone. Which is it's a shame. It's a shame. But hey, the fighter pilot deserves it.
Sorry.
I do like the fact that she kind of. I like the fact that one of the final things you saw was her taking Han's seat, because I think that she really is going to be kind of personally, this is what I would like to see. Everybody expects her to be the new light side Jedi and stuff like that, but I would kind of like to see her as a mixture of Han and Luke, in a way like maybe a Jedi pirate or a dark Jedi. A good figure, but still pretty capable of doing bad when it needs to happen. That's what I would like to see.
Chaotic good.
Yeah. Yeah. But a lot of people may differ, but I'd like to see that. But I like where the First Order's going, and the Resistance. And now I'm really anxious to see what Snoke is all about, because that was left way too open. There's nothing to really base it on yet. He's just a ghost. So yeah, that's my thing. I'd give it a solid 9, and that's rare for me.
All right, Eric.
I don't want to see any hookups. Honestly, I don't want to.
Thank you. I agree.
Yeah.
I don't like. The reason that Han and Leia worked was because it was kind of more of a natural thing that didn't really, it wasn't forced on the audience. It just kind of happened through the story itself.
Right.
I want this to just be about the story. I mean,
yeah, you can tell a story without romance.
Yeah.
It can happen.
Yeah, look at my life.
I don't want Rey to be getting into romantic entanglements, because let's face it, we had the romantic Jedi movies with the prequels, and they sucked.
Right.
We don't need to be having everybody hook up. I want this to just be a Star Wars movie. We made it through one movie without any kind of romantic entanglement. Nothing even hinted at. So, and I don't understand why we have to have that.
Because it's Disney.
Right.
But on the whole, I enjoyed it. I mean, I loved the movie. I'm wanting to see it again. What I'm loving most of all is going back right now and just watching it and trying to find the clues, that might give us hints about the next movie.
Right.
So, and I can't wait for May 26th of 2017 to get here.
That's a long ways off.
All right, Mikey.
Yeah, I loved it. I felt it did Star Wars right. I was concerned when Disney took it. I knew Disney would do it good. Just the money they have. I liked that Disney wanted to go back to the roots and do a lot less CGI and
yes.
It was a good film. It did feel very much like number 4, A New Hope.
The original. Just say the original.
Yeah. Which is good and bad. I mean, it brought me back to my childhood. I felt like watching it. You know, I felt like I was watching A New Hope all over again, but that's fine. I'm intrigued to see where they're going to go. Ray is very open. I mean, this could be an interesting wormhole we're going in because she's a jack of everything, man. She communicates with every creature. She does anything. Fixes electronics. Luke never did that.
Right.
So I'm intrigued to see where they're going to go with this.
Yeah.
I have one other final thought. Sorry. I want Disney to pay Fox to be able to use the
Oh, I know, right?
Because it just felt so weird just seeing
Without
Lucasfilms coming up right at the beginning without anything else.
Yeah.
Well, I did enjoy it after some personal reflection. Yeah. On it. I really did enjoy it. I'm anxious to see it again. I'm glad that I'm about to bring it down. I'm about to get real. So I told you
just make sure keeping it real doesn't go wrong.
Right. I said at the beginning I had the moment of I'm about to see a crawl I've never read before. I was a little kid when they turned around and there was the Falcon.
Yeah.
I was giddy at that because I've always had a place for the Millennium Falcon, a little Millennium Falcon shaped heart, and
it's 3 times.
But
it's 2 sizes too small.
I'm gonna be completely honest. The end of that movie, the build up when she got in the Falcon and she's flying off with Chewie, and she's walking up, and then you see the cloaked figure. And when Mark Hamill turned around with that beard and then he took off that hood, I'm not even lying. Like I wept.
Yeah.
Like I got so emotional at that moment, and I was apparently Luke Skywalker's my trigger. Because when he turned around and he took off that hood, I was just in tears at that moment of seeing Luke Skywalker again. Because I see Mark Hamill all the time. Mark Hamill's on The Flash now.
Yeah.
Mark Hamill, it's not like I've never seen Mark Hamill, but I haven't seen Luke Skywalker in 30 years.
Yeah. The student has become the master.
And it was just, I was just overcome. And that moment, and that was part of why I didn't walk out of the movie going, oh my God, this was amazing, because I was processing that.
Yeah.
But I'm excited for where we're going, and I'm excited to share this with my kids. And we are going to get 5 Star Wars movies in 5 years.
Yes.
We had 15 was Episode 7, 16 is Rogue One, 17 is Episode 8, 18 is Han Solo, 19 is Episode 9, and then 2020 is the Boba Fett movie. I mean, they're cranking these out one a year for the next 5 or 6 years, and it's amazing.
Yeah. Okay, I gotta ask, guys. How did Boba Fett become such a cultural phenomenon for the guy that only had 5 lines?
No idea.
And he died
I've
in a
never seen
big
it.
toothy butthole in the sand is what killed him. I mean, I just don't understand how he got to be such an icon.
So that reminds me, we were talking about their reflections. So what's the metallic stormtrooper?
Mm-hmm.
Captain Phasma.
Is that our next Fett?
I think she's supposed to be the next Boba Fett, yeah.
Okay.
But unfortunately, the guy that called Finn a traitor has taken that mantle.
Yeah.
Everybody thinks he's a badass. So.
Yeah, he's a cool character, man.
So, well, if you haven't seen it, go see it. If you've seen it, go see it again, because it's amazing. It really is.
And Chris,
this is Star Wars the way that Star Wars is supposed to be.
Chris, if you need someone to go with you to see it again, call me, because I will definitely go see it with you, and we can spoon afterwards.
Right. So.
And you made it awkward.
Yeah.
All right. Well.
Don't you judge us.
Well, that is our Star Wars wrap up, and we could honestly do this for hours. We could seriously dissect this movie.
Yeah, because I'm telling you, man, like this. Seriously, this is the first time I've been truly excited about a movie in a long time. What the hell just happened?
Who's calling the Demon Lords?
It was kind of quiet in the living room, and Kelly was watching Constantine, and all of a sudden, that's exactly what it is. Demons.
I was about to say, did our recording just mess up like it did last time?
No. Oh, God. On that note, may the Force be with all of you.
And also with you.
It is right. Wait, no.